We gotta get the fuck out of here now! No!
Let me try.
Any of you all know what a sundown town is?
Yes, sir, we do.
Well, this is a sundown county. And if I had found you pissing in my woods like animals after dark, it would have been my sworn duty to hang every single one of you from them trees.
It's not sundown yet.
Thorough Complex Conversations, Mindset Over Everything, home of the Hood Spiritualist. Now, before we start the show, I'm going to have to let everyone know in my audience that is viewing that these graphic images that I'm about to show in this segment are very horrific. And if you cannot stomach anything like this, I suggest now you click out of my video or fast forward through it. But let's get this story started. Now, this is a story that I really don't like to hear about or even speak on or even have to go and do research on certain things like this and even speak on it on my platform, because it really hurts to even hear things like this are still going on. And I can believe that it's still going on because we allow it to. So in this segment, I'll be talking about Darrell Rhymes and his girlfriend Jamesia and their trip to Cincinnati, Ohio, how it turned for the worst. Now, 5 days ago, Darrell Rhymes and his girlfriend Jamesia were on their way to Cincinnati, Ohio to visit his godson and watch him play basketball. While on their road to see his godson, they decided to make a small rest stop at a Greensburg, Indiana gas station. Now, in Greensburg, Indiana, we know those are sundown towns, and I will get into what a sundown town is. Now, for the ones who don't know what a sundown town is, sundown towns are also known as sunset towns. Gray towns or sundowner towns are all white municipal cities or neighborhoods in the United States that practice a form of racial segregation by excluding non-whites via some combination of discriminatory local news or laws, intimidation, or violence. The term came from signs posted that colored people had to leave a town by sundown. Some of those images would say whites only within city limits after dark, or news postings that would say, "Don't let the sun set on you. You hear? Understand?" And then the next one would be a dramatization picture of nigger. This is Shepherdstown. God help you if the sun ever sets on you here. So you all have a glimpse of what a sundown town is and what they mean. Let's continue with the story of what happened to Mr. Darrell Rhymes when he reached Greensburg, Indiana. Now, as they noticed they were followed by the Greensburg police, they then were pulled over by the said police officers, and they proceeded to ask why they had to get out of the car, and they were told they were driving too slow and smelled weed. Typical officer move, because you want the arrest, okay? And you know they do things and say things to manipulate our people and just to manipulate their way into getting into something or making that person seem like they're doing something of criminal activity. So when the officer said they smelled weed, and also because they were driving too slow, which is very odd. I've never been in a state where I've got pulled over driving too slow. Y'all gotta tell me about that. Like, y'all got rules and regulations for driving too under the speed limit? I understand that, but what is driving slow to an officer, to the point where an officer has to pull someone over for driving too slow? Like, for real. That's something you would pull my granny over for. But anyway, as they looked and viewed the scene, they noticed more police cars were pulling up. One of the women cops who had pulled up says if they don't get out of the car, she would drag them out. So, you know, already they're coming with the threats towards these young people and things like that. So when it prescribed, Darrell wasn't resisting arrest when they pulled them out of the car. So they proceeded to pull them out of the car. And when they pulled him out of the car, when they snatch him out of the car, they throw him to the ground and commence to violently beating him, slamming his face to the concrete, hitting him with steel boots, and kicking him in the face. Now, when they proceeded to kick him in the face, they also was tasing Darrell in the back of his head, which knocked Darrell in and out of consciousness, and which he ended up waking up in the hospital after the fatal last blow to really knock him out of his consciousness. They knocked out 5 of his teeth, you all, breaking his jaw in 3 places. And even while they were beating him, Darrell was screaming for help and asking them to stop and asking what has he done. Now, according to Darrell's mom, on her GoFundMe page, which I will have the GoFundMe listed below because it is to help fund Darrell's care while he's in the hospital and also to help bond his girlfriend Jamesia out of jail. And she is the only current eyewitness to this, so we need to get Jamesia out and make sure she is safe as well. But according to his mom on her GoFundMe page, she said that they fled the scene when they saw the officers approaching. Now, if there are 2 different stories, we're here to put 2 and 2 together, and I'm just going to say both sides of the story. Now, according to his mom, she said they were pulled over by the police. They were told to get out, and they proceeded to ask why they had to get out the car, which they were told to slow. They were driving too slow. But she says as they looked and viewed the scene and noticed the other cops, and when the woman told them to get out, when they heard that, they proceeded to flee that scene to eventually get caught up at another gas station. And that's where Darrell surrendered with his hands up. Now, his mom says he surrendered with his hands up, so the police then tased him in the back of his head, and he woke up the next day in the hospital with broken bones in his face. Now, that's the short story that his mom had on the GoFundMe page. Also, I don't know how many words GoFundMe gives you in the description box, so she could have just tried to put all she could in the GoFundMe description box talking about his story and what had happened. So just me doing my research, and I'm here, like I said, to tell both sides of each story that I got, because I also seen what his uncle had placed on Facebook and spreading awareness about what happened to his nephew. So the uncle said that he gave more in detail of how they kicked him in the face and anything, but he left out that they fled the first scene that they were at. So that probably kind of ignited those officers even more, if you feel what I'm saying. Like, you know, that'll piss them off if you run. So they probably, and that, I see why they beat him like that, but that doesn't justify him getting beaten like that. Like, no one deserves to get beaten because you didn't get your way, a little officer. You feel me? Go play with your tool belt. Like, come on. So for him to flee, that for sure angered those officers even more, that he kind of was about to get away. Now, like I said, once again, the only eyewitness to this is his girlfriend, Jamesia, who is currently being held in Greensburg jail. So, y'all let me know down in the comments what you think about this, and we will be reporting more on this story as it develops, because just as of yesterday, it was posted to social media and it is spreading like wildfire. But just don't post, you all. We need to do something about it. It's time to burn down towns like that. Go to their neighborhoods and burn it down. Don't burn down none of our stuff. Don't destroy none of the things you know we're going to need to use in life. Burn they shit down. Bust up in their doors like they did in Mateo. But I'm not going to go into my rebel mode because y'all know how I can get. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think, because this story needs to be spread and it needs to bring fire awareness under y'all asses to get up and make a change and be the change you want to see. So once again, this is a story about Darrell Rhymes, who was traveling to Cincinnati, Ohio, where he then was targeted by the Greensburg police, these thugs. Really, they are the thugs. He was tracked and hawked down by these thugs and beaten senseless, and something that just should never happen. So I want to say justice for Darrell Rhymes and justice for Jamisha. May they free her to the words backwards. And once again, y'all, I have the links to Darrell's GoFundMe page below, and make sure y'all donate and help Darrell out, and also send peace, love, and light to Darrell. My name is Bruja Honey Ray. You're listening to The Hood Spiritualist, powered by Thorough Complex Conversations. I'm tuning out as you tuning in, but you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. All right, y'all, peace.